invested in it.
I will tell you that my wife is not happy with the music, so I'm going to turn it down. This is lower. Hopefully it's good. We're live. We are live. Good morning. My name is Sean Shapiro, and this is Ask a Traffic Cop, where you get to join me for an hour answering your traffic and police questions. It's what is it today? It's the 29th, and it's a Wednesday. So that is, I normally say this is hump day. We're halfway through, but it's a short week. It's a long weekend. So only one more day. We get Friday Junior, which is the stand-in for Friday. So tomorrow is a big day. Very excited. We've got stuff and things to talk about. Joining me today is Aaron Urquhart, TPS_Bike Heart. I have to emphasize the Bike Heart because I once said it wrong incorrectly, and I don't want to do that again. Today we will talk about Vision Zero Enforcement Team. We will discuss the campaign, Keep Toronto Moving. We will discuss buying tickets for a motorcycle. Like, how can you win? And it's for a good cause, so be sure to do that if you're interested in winning potentially. Apparently, somebody won $70 million last night. It wasn't me because I didn't buy a ticket, and I'm disappointed in myself for not having jumped on that train because I could have used $70 million.
Shouldn't we?
I got a couple of things I can think. What would you buy with $70 million?
I don't know. I go down this rabbit hole of fantasizing if I won the lottery, and I have to stop myself because I can't get out of my own brain sometimes. But first and foremost, I would pay off debts and stuff. I would take care of all those serious stuff. But then I would probably buy a house, like a nice house outside of the city with a pool, a hot tub, lots of land. I would buy lots of dogs. I would just own a dog farm.
I think my wife would do the same thing in terms of having a gazillion dogs. She's very much a dog person, and you got to give them room to enjoy themselves.
Exactly.
I see a couple of comments about helping others would be a priority, so that's cool. I'm even noticing this being too loud. Let me bring it down a bit.
Where are the comments? Oh,
comments are there. I see comments.
No, I swiped to see them. I'm still figuring out TikTok. It's only been 2 years.
It's changing every day. Every day there's an update and everything looks different. I still don't have Q&A. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Is Q&A back? Let's see what happens when I hit lightning question. Do you believe in giving second chances? Sometimes, but I'd rather answer traffic and police questions. So TikTok, if you are watching, know that the questions and answer function is horribly broken, and we will do our very best to answer your traffic and police questions. Parking questions too, because Aaron is a parking enforcement officer and knows everything there is to know about parking, right? Pro guru, how do you prefer being referred to as she reads and ignores me?
Sorry, I'm already dealing with trolls and whatnot.
Oh yes, yes. Please don't troll. We have a wonderful audience. We have people who are participants, part of a community, which allows me to talk about Volley. And Volley app is an amazing thing, and I want everyone to jump onto it so you can participate totally differently. And that's why I knew there was a reason I brought my other computer up. I have Volley, and let me open up Volley. There we go. Volley app. Where's the link? It's talk.volley app. Sorry, it's talk.volley.app/voiceover cop. So talk.volley, volley is VOLLEY.app/voiceover cop. That's to get to me. If you want to send me questions, you can send me video questions. I can edit them and bring them into next day's Q&A, and we can do cool things. And I'm excited to try this. So come join a community. I've actually created a space on Volley called Traffic Services where you can ask questions. And if you come into there, maybe we can get some Q&A working around what's broken, get Q&A working, through other means, the Ways and Means Act. Okay, let's get into the first order of business, Vision Zero Enforcement Team. And I really do want to come back. If you want to share with me what you would do with $70 million, I am eager to know because I've got a plan what I would do. It doesn't matter. I didn't buy a ticket, so I didn't win. I know it's not me. All I got was the instant disappointment in myself for not having set up that reoccurring automated lotto. Have you done that, Aaron? Have you ever put in a subscription so every draw buys a ticket automatically?
No.
I did that. I downloaded the app. I put $100 in, and then I thought, I should max out, but 3 tickets. I spent $100 in 2 days. It went too quickly.
We're talking about the lottery, right?
Yeah, lottery.
Yeah, no, I'm in a part of a lottery group with my platoon, so Jason handles it. I give him my money every month. And
well, there you go. And have you ever won?
We've run a couple free plays.
I tend to get free plays in $10. So, and my wife has confirmed my belief was correct. She wants a dog farm too. Good morning, my love. My wife is watching. My kids are watching. They're having snack time, no doubt. And this is the last week of school for many people. So that means camp for many people begins the next week. So lots of things coming into the city of Toronto and to communities around us. Nigel, good morning. I did see your message, but I didn't acknowledge you. Nigel's watching on LinkedIn. Long weekend says drinking and driving checks. We have a episode I just recorded with Turf talking all about impaired operation, drinking and driving, drugs and driving. It's no good, but I've got to edit that episode and have it ready for Friday. Okay. Angela Topping also wants a dog farm. And Chasey's in the house. We have, what do we got here? Boom, boom, boom.
I have
Lots of stuff
parking question.
Go with it.
Someone's asked how to deal with neighbors parking behind my garage in a shared driveway. So there's a couple things to talk about when it comes to this. So first of all, if it's private property and it's in front of your garage, if it's in front of your garage and there's a cut curb, then essentially they're blocking a driveway, right? So you could call us and we can come and enforce and give a ticket and a possible tow for a driveway obstruct. But you would have to be present and do all the signing off on that, as it is private property and we need to be invited by you. Or, you could do, well, actually, no, I'm not going to say that because that could.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, I know
I know what you were going to say. But so I had this question. It might be the same person. They messaged on the video promoting this live session, and they asked, if someone is blocking my driveway, why do I have to pay? So my answer was, if it's on public property, you don't. If it's on the street, you don't pay. If it's on private property, that's when you're in a situation when you have to pay. And many people don't understand why. Well, it's because it's private property. There's no authority for us to do things without owner's consent and the authority that's then gives you sign, and you have to pay because the city's not paying for what happens on your private property, which is difficult. My family used to have a piece of property, and people used to park there, and we had to have signs put up with the proper bylaws, and it was a big deal. And fortunately, we're no longer in the business of owning anything. It's much easier that way.
Yes.
Okay. Vision Zero Enforcement Team. I started to say it, then I didn't actually go anywhere with it. Vision Zero Enforcement Team is a group of dedicated officers that focus on driver behavior. Yes, they are trying to change driver behavior one ticket at a time. No hugs are given. They go out throughout the city looking for drivers who are choosing to behave. They're choosing to participate in driving behavior that leads to serious injury and death on our roadways. What are those behaviors, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. They are the speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, impaired driving. All of those things increase your opportunity or your chances of becoming involved in a collision. And guess what? The faster you go, the more likely you are going to be involved in a serious collision or one that results in death. Could be yours, could be someone else's. Doesn't matter. Death is bad. I don't think anybody's cheering for death, but where are they today? They're in 31 Division and 55 Division. Does that mean anything to you? It doesn't mean anything to me. Well, it does because I know where they physically are, but it doesn't really help us explain the communities that are affected and why they're there helping. So Black Creek, Humber, Mead, Glenfield, Downsview, 55 Division includes Beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, East York. Those are neighborhoods with real people in them. And when people choose to drive dangerously and put the vulnerable road users in those neighborhoods at risk, we're going out and helping. Now, we're helping the entire city. We just do it differently every day. We move around. We have to, spread the love because we cannot do everything everywhere all the time. So how do we choose? Well, we have big brain people. They're analysts. They look at the statistics. They look at the data that's coming in, and they see where we are needed most, and based on traffic trends, they're putting us there. That's it. If you've got questions, please let us know. And as I mentioned, you can't use TikTok for Q&A. You can talk to us in the chat. We'll do our very best to catch your question, but you might get missed. You know how you avoid getting missed? Jump on to volleyapp.com. I'm experimenting with this. I will refresh every once in a while and see if we've got... I see Chase. Chase has just joined in. This is an app where you can actually record. You can send me a text. You can send me a file. You can send me a video of yourself, audio of yourself, all sorts of options, and we'll go through it and see what we can do. It also transcribes it. So even if you give me a video, I can just read it. I don't have to actually watch it on air if that's something that helps you. Okay, if you're on the Instagram Live, you can use the Q&A feature. And if you are on YouTube, oh, you know what I just realized? I don't have my banner up. Let's throw up the banner here. Throw the banner. There we go. Now it makes sense. It looks better. You can get us on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else. The deal is, though, that Twitter, you can only watch us. You can't actually interact with us. You can add comments, but we don't see them because it's broken. so many things are broken. Twitter's broken. TikTok's broken. Is it things that start with T? No, Twitch works. Twitch works.
Twitter's broken too? What? Oh, for live stream?
Twitter will display our live streams, but you can't ask questions. So if you want to ask questions, be sure to look for us on Twitch at Traffic Services. You can get us on YouTube at Traffic Services Toronto Police. You can get us on our Facebook page, Traffic Services. Justin says, hey, Aaron and Sean, awake and working on the West Coast. Welcome. Jeremy Warner wants to know, is it legal to tow a small motorcycle trailer behind an RV trailer you are already towing? I think we talked about this yesterday. A common question, I don't know why. In Ontario, according to the MTO, it says tandem towing is illegal. Tandem towing is when you have two trailers behind a vehicle. Commercial vehicles can have them. You look at big rigs; they can carry two full-size trailers, but there's rules surrounding it, and that would be something I want you to double and triple check with the MTO before you do anything like that, because everything that I see says they're illegal. Now, vehicles that are over 4,500 kilos apparently can, and that's where it sort of takes it out of the non-commercial realm. So we've had that discussion, and if certain criteria are met, it is possible, but I don't know. And I don't want to give you bad information. Okay. And that's who okay, this is who, let me just send this message to, and this is so cool because I'm going to look over my computer and do it. Oh, hold on. Let's FaceTime camera, MacBook microphone. Okay, we're sending him a message. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining Volley. And I'm going to put him into the group. So that just went. He can send me a message back. And I'm going to send him an invite in just a second. All right. Questions and things. We have, can an OPP officer pull you over on regular streets or just highways? Well, here's a funny little thing about OPP. They're police officers for the entire province, but so are we. As municipal officers, we have the powers of police anywhere in Ontario. Now, we don't generally drive up north to do traffic enforcement because getting back to the station for lunch would be a very long drive, but we have the authority while we're there. You can be stopped on the highway by a municipal officer, and you can be stopped on the side streets by OPP officers. It makes no difference. Just stop for police or things go worse. Let's see here. Bearsy says, who's coming in from Twitch, by the way, do you get demerits if you get caught driving without updated registration and no insurance? No demerit points for either of those. No insurance is not a driving offense. It's not a moving violation. Although there's a $5,000 to $25,000 fine and up to 6 months in jail for no insurance. So, you don't get demerits, but you may not be happy if you're in the clink. Now, if you are talking about updated registration, that's just a document charge, because you have only 6 days to make changes to any information on your registration, and you must, of course, be driving with valid insurance. Now, we're speaking specifically to Ontario law. If you're from somewhere else, it could be different. Jeremy Warner says, thank you. My dad is stubborn and won't listen to me. Your dad, depending on the size of the thing, could be right, but that's why I say double check with the ministry, because I have conflicting information. When I searched tandem towing, it clearly states that it's illegal in Ontario. Mark says, hey, hope you're having a great day. Just curious, is it illegal to have amber lights on your vehicle? Well, depends on what you're talking about with amber. Actually, it doesn't really depend, because you can have amber warning lights, hazard lights. You can have flashing lights. There's no law that restricts the use of amber strobes, and many security companies and tow companies have them. And with tow companies, they actually must have those beacons. When you talk about amber headlights, they are legal in Ontario. You must have either white or amber headlights. So the only two colors you can project forward at over 300 lumens. And that's the deal. That's the answer. So it is legal to have amber lights on your vehicle. Bearsy says he's in Alberta. Has 2 weeks time period? What are we talking about? 2 weeks for changing your information. Good to know. And I don't know how it works for Alberta insurance, but I imagine it's also not fun. The big thing is insurance good. I know insurance companies might be difficult to deal with. They may not be making friends with people, especially when they deny claims, which very often happen. But if you don't have them, your life could go horribly wrong if you're involved in a collision. That would be bad. Okay. What's the rule on motorcycle underglow? I had motorcycle underglow. It wasn't really. It was more like accent lighting that reflected onto the most beautiful engine ever made, the Flat Six Honda. I think I just love the engine of my motorcycle. So I had accent lights that reflected off the engine. It sparkled blue. it was not underglow truly, and it didn't project directly out. And that would be what my suggestion to you is. Not direct lighting, not shining to blind anybody or be distracting, but accent lighting is okay. If it is truly underglow, it must direct down and not have bulbs visible, because if you're projecting light forward, backwards, or side to side, truly projecting directly from a light source, and depending on how bright it is, it could violate other laws. So just to protect yourself, my suggestion would be, whatever you do, don't use it on the roads, because you don't need the hassle of being pulled over as someone tries to figure out what the laws are. And two, you don't want to be a distraction. I know many people say better to be seen. It depends. Certainly no, you want to stay away from blue, red, or green. Those are restricted colors. Red, intermittent flashing red light is a restricted thing it could be. So if it flashes to music or just flickers, even if something is a loose harness and it's flickering, bad. Don't do that. Hello, I renewed my license plate online and never received the green slip. It's been about 2 months. So I don't think you're getting a new slip. I think the whole idea of the renewal online is to avoid sending things in the mail, which is costly. So my suggestion is keep the printed receipt that you had. If you have a PDF, keep that. I'd even keep a copy of the article in case you're like articles in the media that were explaining the change in laws, because if you're traveling outside of the city or outside of the province, you might have people who don't realize that we don't use stickers anymore. In any case, I don't expect that you'll be getting a new green slip. Now, if you go to the ministry and have them reprint it because you changed information on your address, your color, something along those lines, then you'll have an updated version with the new expiry date. I don't think it's a requirement, though. Our systems get updated. Hello, I've gotten a ticket for a license plate frame from the dealership. Why? Well, because they're illegal. And you might want to go back and tell your dealership, like, hey, why'd you put this on my car? You got me a ticket. Because it's illegal. And I've told my dealer exactly that, and they were dumbfounded. They had no idea. You cannot put anything on your license plate. You can't put a frame. You can't put a cover, clear, tinted, colored, nothing. Nothing can be on your license plate because you must have it clearly legible, which means and no cover. No cover. You can't obstruct or obscure any portion of the plate. Can't have a dirty plate. Can't have mud on your plate. It must be clean. So when you do your circle check, because I'm sure everybody watching does a circle check in their car every morning and every 5 minutes. No, you just got to make sure your plates are physically there, that they're not obstructed, because you can be ticketed. Now, I don't want you to get the idea that we're out there going, I'm going to find someone with a license plate frame, because anyone with a Ford dealership license plate frame is getting a ticket today. No, that's not the case. We have higher priorities than that. That's not the focus of what we do. But if we are already stopping you and we're going to check your car, now we are going to check the entire thing. And you may or may not get that ticket. Many officers will give you a warning, will educate you. Other officers, depending on how the call goes or the stop goes, might decide they're giving you all the tickets. It's really up to them. Okay. So departments out of province can ticket for expired plates. Absolutely. If your plates are expired, you're not lawfully on the road. If you're outside of your own province, you're still not lawfully on the road, and departments can charge you because you violated the law. Your plate's not valid. We can check that for outside of the province here, outside of the country. We can check all sorts of things. We can see American plates and get returns for those as well. And when they're expired, we issue tickets. I had someone that had been living, actually ended up being, they got deported. I had them deported. I pulled them over. They were driving, I think it was 2014. They had 2012 stickers. So one thing led to another, an investigation ensued, and they ended up being deported. They were an overstay. They had come into Canada and never left. And now you may not know this, but you're only allowed to visit a country without a visa for a certain period of time. They had gone well beyond it by years, and they were deported. So there you go. Things that happen from a simple expired license plate. What do we got here? Is there no Q&A section anymore? Should we ask in the comments? Thank you for asking. And yes, TikTok made a boo-boo. They broke something. I don't know why, or maybe it's on purpose. I don't know, but I can't get a clear answer. The deal is that you can ask in the comments. We'll do our best. It is not a perfect science. I appreciate that. If you want to be in a less crowded room, because right now there's 386 people on TikTok, and that can sometimes go up to 1,000, 1,500, so it gets kind of busy. And hello from Saskatchewan, or to Saskatchewan. I'm coming to Saskatchewan in September, just letting you know, in case anyone's there. The deal is that you can come over to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn. Those are great places, a little quieter. You can also get me on Volley app. Volley app, we've already had one person jump on. It's Volley. So if you go to, what did I just say the link was? I don't know if you can just go on and just search VoiceOver Cop, but talk.volley.app/VoiceOver Cop will bring you to me. And then you can ask me questions here. And it's really quiet there because there's only one user besides me. It's chasing myself. Yeah, there you go. What is it? Is it legal for basketball nets to be on the road? So we're talking about playing basketball on the. Are you allowed to play hockey on the road? Are you allowed to obstruct? You know what? I don't know I actually have no idea what the law is in regards to. You can't leave things on the road, but if you're actively using it, you're not obstructing traffic. I don't think it's a problem. I mean, technically, I bet you it is, but I can't imagine someone coming up and giving you a hard time for that. But technically, I bet you it is illegal because you're putting something on the road without a permit. Do you know, Aaron, if you can put your basketball net to play basketball on the road?
I'm not sure about that.
This is the first time I've ever heard this question.
Yeah, I saw that earlier too, and I was like, that's actually a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to. I'm going to assume there's going to be some sort of city bylaw about it. Like if they're, is it like the same thing with road hockey, right?
Yeah. Well, you're just playing on the road, and then you get off. I've seen signs that say no street hockey, no playing on the road.
I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, we used to play out in the road too, and we would just be like car, and everyone goes out of the road.
It's in every
that's
Canadian television production.
But again, I grew up in the '90s. I don't know how many kids.
I grew up before then. Question from Beersy: Can an officer run my plates if I haven't broken any traffic laws? Yes, we can. We can run any plate for any reason. In fact, automatic plate readers are becoming the norm in Canada and the United States, where they just automatically get run all the time, looking for stolen vehicles, suspended drivers, and and anything that would trigger a thing. Stolen vehicles is a big thing. We have a street sweeper project where we have a number of vehicles that drive around reading all the license plates that they pass, and they're looking for stolen vehicles specifically. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So, and then we can also pull people over because we want to check your license status. We want to check your sobriety. We want to check your insurance status. Those are all lawful reasons to stop you. Now, I will tell you that I don't just randomly pull people over. I usually will have a reason. They did something, but the law does support doing it for just to check to make sure that you have a license. So if I saw someone who was incredibly young and they weren't the registered owner or didn't appear to be the registered owner, then I'd pull them potentially over to see if they had a license. I don't remember the last time I did that, but I'm sure it's possible that I've done it before. I know I got pulled over. I was pulled. Actually, they didn't pull me over. This is well before I was with the police. I was driving. I had a Mustang when I was a kid. Not a kid, but a younger person. I had a Mustang, and they rolled down the window and said, "Is this your car?" And I said, "Well, technically, it's in my mother's name, so no." They said, "Oh, okay." Because they saw a male driver in a vehicle that had a woman's name on it, and they wanted to know if it was me. And I was able to sufficiently provide information because apparently they were looking for a stolen vehicle that matched the description. So there you go. Is there a threshold for calling a headlight not white? I'm seeing more and more LED headlights that look very blue. Well, aftermarket headlights that look blue are illegal. There were a range of halogen bulbs that were very blue, and there is a limit to how many where on the Kelvin scale they can be, and I think it's 8,000 Kelvin. Is that you're nodding? Does that sound right?
I don't know. I'm just agreeing.
I was getting the affirmative thing. I'm like, wow, she knows stuff about. You're a car person. I didn't know. Let's see here.
I have a funny question here that I kind of have a personal story about, but it relates to the question. Someone asked, can I dance and drive at the same time? So my story behind this actually didn't happen to me. Actually, some of my good friends back in high school, they were coming home, driving home from a volleyball in our senior year, so grade 11, grade 12. And they're just, teenage girls jamming out, listening to some music, dancing. And they got pulled over by the police because they were like, we saw lots of erratic movement and we just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay.
Well, if you're dancing and neither of your hands are on the wheel, that's careless driving.
Well, they didn't get a ticket, but I think they were just like, you guys were just like, we saw lots of hands moving and, but it's just, it could happen that you can get pulled over.
For sure. I imagine with no hands on the wheel and dancing, your vehicle is not tracking.
Yeah, so maybe they were swerving here and there.
I imagine that might be the thing. I'd be looking for impaired operation. I'd be looking for all sorts of things.
Yeah, I think that's what they were looking for as well, because it was in the evening. But anyways, moving on.
Mr. 3X says, Mr. R3 says, please help. What's the law on loud music in a vehicle? There is a law that says you cannot create unnecessary loud noise. Now, that includes a horn, siren, stereo, your tires, your muffler. All those things fall under unnecessary noise if it's not something required to operate the vehicle. So how How loud is too loud? Well, that's going to be subjective. It's going to be in the officers making those observations, but it's a thing. So your music is meant for you, not for the street around you, and you could be charged for unnecessary loud noise. $110 charge under the HTA. Mufflers can be additional charges as well. What do we got here? Tinted motorcycle what is this? Can I drive with a... No, 1 second here. I've got too many scrolling. I can't even read one thing. Tinted motorcycle visor is important for safety. Okay, tinted motorcycle visor is not illegal. A visor on your helmet is not illegal. Now, you shouldn't drive it for safety at night that way. I would suggest even better than tinted visors is sunglasses, something you can take off and not have to remove your visor and replace it. I had tried a tinted visor and I had quick release, but then I could interchange my visors when I was younger, and it was a pain in the butt because at night I ended up not having the clear one, or I scratched it because it was in a bag, so I ended up just leaving the visor up at night, and you don't want that. You want to protect your eyes. Okay, what is this? How many donuts are with you in the room right now? Sadly, none. And that's probably your fault because you didn't bring any. Just saying. I don't want any donuts. I'm not a big donut guy. And last time I talked about donuts, a friend sent me donuts. So don't send me any donuts because I don't need any. But the only donuts I like are raspberry-filled Krispy Kreme donuts. They are my favorite. And that gift of donuts broke a week or a run of carb-free living, but I couldn't see those raspberry donuts die. They deserved a better end. What is the legal amount of tint that you can have on your car? You can have up to 30% light blockage on the windows directly left and right of the driver. You can have nothing on the windshield unless your vehicle was manufactured before January 1st, 2017, at which point you can have up to 3 inches of tint, a brow across the top, from the top of the windshield to the PS1 line, or 3 inches, 75 millimeters, whatever happens first. That's the legal thing. Now, I will tell you that if in atmospheric changes, so it gets dark outside and you have 30%, which is legal for safety, it may not be legal for always, which means if it's too dark for us to see and we can't identify the driver, if we can't see what's going inside the vehicle, that is against the law, and you can be charged for obscuring the interior of your vehicle with a color or reflective coating. That was a lot of words in a very short period of time, but that is the deal. You can be charged, and independent of the fact that you are safe for the road during certain conditions, you may not be safe for the road in all. If you had tint on the entire front of your windshield, I would take your license plates. It's an unsafe vehicle. And we've had people peel the tint right off their windows while we waited to prevent us from taking the plates because they want to make sure they can drive home. It's expensive to be towed. Windows behind in the rear compartment, the rear window itself, they can be as dark as you want. In fact, people have said, well, what if I block the mirror? You can't see out the mirror. You need one mirror in Ontario, one mirror to the view to the rear, which could be one of the two side mirrors. It doesn't have to be the one attached to your rear windshield. Or I should say your front windshield facing out the rear. One clear view to the back. Question that I meant to answer like 5 minutes ago but didn't. Collision tow. What are my rights? Who pays for tow? So, here's the deal. If you're in a collision and you are able to make your own decisions, as long as the police officer has not given you instructions that the vehicle cannot be towed, very often in a front-end collision, there is concern about delayed airbag deployment. So very often we'll say, I'm sorry, based on this, you got to get towed. At which point you can choose who you want to get towed with. You can choose to use a contract tow. You can choose to have the tow truck that was there. You can call CAA and get it towed. And if you have CAA or another towing company or a roadside assistance plan, that's an option for you. But if you are blocking traffic and it's unsafe, we may direct the vehicle to be towed, and then you don't get a choice. It's whoever's there or a contract tow, whichever one it is. And you are responsible for paying for your own tow. Now, if you're in a collision, the insurance company is going to reimburse you. That's part of what happens with insurance. See, bonuses to being insured and following the law. So you would pay for it and you would get reimbursed, or you'd call your insurance company and get direction from them. They may say, if you use ABC Tow Company, we have a contract, or we'll reimburse them. So options for you. Let's say you have CAA and you say, I don't want to pay for a tow, but CAA is going to take an hour. And we say, well, hey, guess what? We got to get you off the road right now. It doesn't matter if it's collision or you just broke down. You want to use your own tow because you paid for it, and we're saying it's got to go. Well, you call them, and very often they will, I can't speak for them always, but my experience has been they will tell you that you submit your bill to CAA, and they will reimburse the company that did tow you, or reimburse you for what you paid the towing company, because they couldn't get to you fast enough, and that's on them to some degree. It's for safety. You're being directed by a police officer. You have to go. Now, if you are rendered unconscious, if you're injured and taken by ambulance to hospital, if you're arrested, well, that's going to be a tow contract tow, and it's not up to you. It's going to go to a contract tow, be held in a contract pound by the Toronto Police or on behalf of the Toronto Police for the protection of your asset. And we're also going to do a search of the vehicle to make sure that anything that's in there is still there when you get it back. So if we see a laptop in the back seat and you're off to the hospital, we're not going to take the laptop out and start delivering it. We're going to lock it up after making a list of what's in the vehicle, and we're going to put that on the tow card, which is the record of the instructions that get sent to the tow operator. We're going to stay with the vehicle until it gets towed away. And it's the same thing with parking doesn't do the searches, but parking, when you have a vehicle relocated or towed, you're going to make notes as to what you do a circle check to make sure damage.
We still have to do a tow card, and we still have to mark any pre-existing damage before the tow truck picks it up and whatnot. So we have to do that. Someone asked, because I've seen it here pop up a couple times, what's the fine for illegible license plate?
$110. If your license plate is not legible, if your license plate, or you're not driving with two license plates, if it's not mounted in the appropriate place, where's the appropriate place? Great segue. It has to be in the rear of the vehicle. It has to be illuminated by at least 3 candela of power light bulbs, white light only. And in the front of the vehicle, it has to be conspicuously placed on the front of the vehicle, and it must be free of obstruction. Now, when we say front of vehicle, we don't mean front windshield. Front of vehicle is the front grille, the front bumper, somewhere on the front. Doesn't have to be in the center, it can be off to the side, but it must be facing forward, and it cannot be the front windshield. Very often people say, it doesn't say you can't have it in the front windshield. Okay, it doesn't say it, but it also doesn't say you can. It says front, and I know that the windshield is not the frontmost part of the vehicle. That's just me being able to make simple observations. So if you put it inside the windshield, that's no different than putting a license plate cover on it. And also, so you'd be obscuring it, and B, you would be mounting it not as per the regulation. That was a lot of words. Okay. Can I drive with a blown airbag as there is no law says airbags are mandatory? It's illegal to remove an airbag. It's not illegal to fail to replace it, but removing it is illegal. There's some issues with that. So you're right. If it blows and you just leave it there, there's no specific law. It may, however, be considered unsafe because you can't certify the vehicle that way. So it really is some level of interpretation. But user 453, you got to get a username, man. User 453 was 624. I don't know. You got lots of numbers there. You're sort of right, but you're still looking for a problem. Ultimately, driving a seatbelt restraint system is a combination of seatbelt and airbag. So if you have one but not the other, I'd argue that your vehicle is unsafe for the road. What is this? Ooh. Can you drive with a tow hook attached? Tow hook? What do you mean? A tow hook is usually is there another word for tow hook? Are you talking about the ball?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think you're talking about your hitch, your tongue and hitch. You can have a hitch that even though you're not towing at the moment. There's no specific law against it. However, and this is something that Sergeant Campbell had brought up, when an insurance company evaluates your vehicle post-collision and determines that your frame is bent because the bumper was not the first thing that was struck in a collision, and it took the frame, therefore, took all of the impact from the collision, suddenly now maybe they don't want to cover your vehicle. I can't say for sure. That's something he brought up, and it's an interesting concept. So food for thought, not a definitive answer. No law saying you can't have it. From the police perspective, you're fine. And Master Technician says, very good. And I appreciate, this is Master Technician, and this is why we love him. He says, Mr. Sean Shapiro, blown airbags void your safety certification. Kaboom! Hold on. Yes, another reason, a sound effect. Yes, I was told you don't have to replace him, but you know what? I've now corrected because Master Technician is also Mr. Technician, and he is a mechanic. He knows stuff and things. So thank you for contributing, as you often do. So there you go. If it voids your safety certification, you got to replace it or you can't drive. And we would never let someone drive away with deployed airbags. Good stuff. People make a lot of attempts at trying to figure out ways to change steering wheels, and I think it's ultimately the question. People, I will drive into a tree to deploy my airbags just so I can put a quick release steering wheel. By the way, quick release steering wheel is not legal for the road. I've not seen one that's certified for the road. Maybe there are. Someone to tell me. Master Technician, are steering wheels that are quick release okay? Let's see here. A question from Kitchener. since I've seen someone have purple colored tinted license plate covers. I don't know if there was a question that this is only the other half, and you're coming in from Twitch, so by the way, hello. The deal is that purple license plate covers are license plate covers, and any license plate cover is an illegal license plate cover. That was a lot of license plate cover. Yeah. Okay, there we got that.
Someone asked, because I'm actually curious about this too, but I think I know the answer. Is it illegal to drive an old car that did not come with seatbelts?
It is not illegal. So if your vehicle was manufactured before seatbelts were a law, if the vehicle was manufactured before emissions were a law, if you had a vehicle that was at one point in time legal for the road, it's still legal for the road because it was manufactured and it not expected to, transform with the times. So I would not drive in a classic car that didn't have seatbelts because I wouldn't feel comfortable. So I would want to retrofit and bring it up to standard because that's me. But someone who's a diehard enthusiast is going to say, well, that's the way the car is. I'm not going to mess with it. You're legal, but I wouldn't think it's safe. Something to think about, though. Law says you must properly secure a child in an approved seatbelt and child restraint and so on. And I would think that putting them in jeopardy could be an issue. So we'll have to have a further discussion on that. We've talked about it before, but if you had a child that you were transporting, you wouldn't, in my opinion, be exempt from putting them in a proper child restraint and securing it for their safety. Nor would you want to. What do we got here?
Master Technician came back with quick release steering wheels are actively disqualified by Transport Canada. Ding, ding,
Yes.
ding, ding, ding.
Yes, yes.
Do you have a sound effect for that? There you go.
Actively. I like that it's actively disqualified. Awesome. Master Technician, we got to get you on the show. We got to get you. We got to have you. Typing with an express stream. Our friend Neon was regularly on the show. He's a mechanic, but he was having some technical difficulty. We haven't seen him recently, but we got to talk. Awesome. Thank you very much for the contribution. This is a community. This is not just about me answering questions. It's the we. There are a lot of people with a lot of knowledge out there, and we appreciate you. Oh, Master Technician says he's added seatbelts to classic cars. It's not easy. Good to know. What if you drive without a license? Somebody wants to know. You can get charged for driving without a license. It's a charge. Oddly enough, it's against the law. So the deal is that if you get charged, I'd have to look up the actual dollar amount. It's something like $300. And obviously you're not insured when you're unlicensed. And you know what? If you are a G1 driver and you're unaccompanied, you're effectively an unlicensed driver because your license is only a learner's permit and it's conditional of having somebody in the car with you. So no insurance for G1 drivers unaccompanied too. So many fun things. Okay, we'll go into the detail of it. If you're a G1 driver, you have to be driving with a supervising driver who has, 1, a full G and 4 years experience. 2, they have to be sitting in the front passenger seat supervising you. They have to have a BAC blood alcohol content under 0.05, so you can't be the designated driver because you have a learner's permit. Additionally, if they're not there and they gave you permission, if they hey, take my car, good, you're cool. You're violating your conditions, you can be charged. They allowed you and permitted you to use a vehicle in violation of your conditions, they can be charged. If you took it without consent, you've stolen the vehicle, you've taken it without consent, it's criminal charges. See, it just gets better and better, and you have no insurance. I think I've covered everything there. If I missed something, let me know. Can I transfer blue plates from my buddy under my name to use them? I don't know. That's a ministry question. I actually have no idea. I think they're trying to get rid of them, so I doubt you'd be able to, but I don't know. How many people would you say are employed in traffic enforcement? Well, the entire police service and every police officer probably in the world is capable of enforcing the laws of their jurisdiction. So for any police officer in Ontario can write a ticket for traffic-related offenses in Ontario under the HTA that I'm aware of. So that would be a very difficult question. If you mean how many people work in my building assigned to my unit, not including the people who are outside doing other things, I think we're at like 600 people, 400 people. It's a lot of people. We have 4 platoons. So there's a couple hundred people just in the front line. And then we have people in specialty units. And then we have people in this unit. And there's a lot of people. But we have 5,000-ish police officers in the city of Toronto, most of whom are not specialized in traffic. But still, we are the largest, I think, single unit for the service, I think. not including court officers and special constables who are single units that have multiple areas of coverage, doing different things, mind you. What is this? Vehicle Valley, thank you. My mother was a lawyer. My dad was an MP. I was raised in it. Oh, right on. I was a response to, it's Master Technician responding to Vehicle Valley. Boy, there's a lot of chat going on. I'm not used to this chat business. This is still trial by fire. Let me see if anyone's popped into my, as I'm not talking to the microphone for a second, checking volley. Volley notifications includes, yeah, I got that. Do I have any other volleys? Hello, volley. What's going on? Just checking volley in case anyone popped in. No one's popped in. If you do, go on to, did I say it's talk.volley? I think I did. It's talk.volley.app. Volley is VOLLEY.app/voiceover cop. You can come join me and chat directly with me, and you can submit questions. We're gonna create this whole Q&A alternative way, and then we can actually play your recordings to the audience like a phone-in radio show. Yeah, I think that's gonna be cool if we can get it working. Or TikTok can just fix what's broke. What do we have here? If an ambulance is on the other side of a median/island, do I need to pull over for them? No. So this goes for police, fire, ambulance, and also applies to school buses. Emergency vehicles traveling on a divided highway, that's with a median or grassy area. If they're on the other side coming at you, you do not need to pull over. If they're coming up behind you, you do. You have to pull over to the nearest curb and stop, curb or edge of roadway. If you are approaching a school bus that is stopped with its lights on and you're on a divided highway, your side, you do have to stop. If it's on the other side of the division, you don't. Now, this changes if it's an undivided highway. If you have a painted line dividing either half of the, I was going to say hemisphere, but half of the road, well, then you do. You have to stop for all traffic on a undivided highway for school buses, and of course, you have to pull over in either direction, because very often we will come into oncoming traffic to get where we have to go. Yeah.
This is a good question. Is it fail to remain if you decide to take car to a collision center, but TPS is en route?
So you would have to speak to the dispatcher and make it and take direction, because very often we are mandated to complete certain collisions at scene. So if someone is injured and being transported to the hospital, that's an at-scene collision. If it's a severe collision, it's got to be reported at scene. But very often, we are going to tell you to take it to a collision reporting center unless it qualifies. But once we've told you we're coming, no, you don't just arbitrarily say, I'm not interested. Now, I will say this. If you're a pedestrian or a cyclist and you know, it's a collision, but it's not serious, and you've chosen to leave, and then you call in, well, that's different. That's something we won't attend after you've left. We will attend if you've stayed. So it's important to know. If you go to our website, www.torontopolice.on.ca/, go to the traffic section. They've just changed all the links on me.
Yeah.
I was going to say traffic. It might be traffic. There's instructions on what to do and how to navigate what happens if you become involved in a collision, what the thresholds are, what we show up for, what we don't, and know what your rights are, what your obligations are, because it's important. If you leave the scene of a collision, you could be charged for fail to remain, as the question alluded to. Hey, something else you can do when you go to the website, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. Ever wanted to become a member of the Toronto Police Service or a police service in general? Want to become a police officer, parking enforcement officer, special constable, auxiliary volunteer? Go check out the website, because we have an employment unit that will have all the answers to your questions about that. They were recently on an episode of TPS Traffic Jam, which is, by the way, our podcast. I'm just working on an episode that we recorded yesterday with TURF, the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, talking about impaired driving, really important topic, especially as we go into the long weekend. So that's going to be ready and posted for Friday, unless I can get it done for tomorrow. So lots of exciting stuff there. We talked about, Harley Raffle. I don't think I discussed Harley Raffle, although I promised that I would at the beginning of the show. www.harleyraffle.ca. You can buy tickets to support Special Olympics Ontario by buying a ticket to a magical, majestic black motorcycle, brand new, and it could be yours. One ticket for 20, 3 tickets for 50. Obviously, I buy in bulk. It's cheaper. It's a better deal. Okay, what do I got here? I don't know if I can refresh. Maybe I can't look on anything else. Bah humbug. Okay. Akela says, yes, I've not been looking at YouTube. My bad. Okay, the blinker fluid has been filled, blinker fluid, and we're good there. If I want to put a decal on my front car window, what happens? Well, you want to make sure that you are not obstructing the driver's view. And a good rule of thumb, as Angela actually mentioned in one of these comments that I caught in my peripheral, is that keep it outside of any area that the windshield wiper wipes, that path of the wipiness. You want to do that. Hey, anybody got questions for Erin? I've been talking a lot. It's Erin's turn. If you have questions about parking enforcement, Erin is TPS_Bikehart. She can be found on any social media platform pretty much. You can ask her questions there. She has a huge following. So if you've got questions, whether you do it now or later, that's where to go. And if you don't already follow us, please do. Just saying. Okay.
The chat's keeping me busy.
They are keeping you busy. Good to know.
Entertained.
Okay. We talked about cover. Okay. Let me scroll down. There was a question from... What is this? What if someone is too large to use a regular seatbelt and doesn't go around the person? If they have a doctor's note not to wear one, would it be valid? So there are exemptions, and you can get a doctor's note. Now, I don't suggest it, but there's other ways rather than simply not wearing it. But listen, we don't mess with the doctor in this situation. There's an exemption possible for not wearing your seatbelt if you have a doctor's note. That should be a valid one, from a real doctor. I've seen all sorts of crazy things. But there's also something called a seatbelt extension. And I would go there before I would simply go to no doctors or to no seatbelt at all. Because, hey, seatbelts do this wonderful thing about saving lives. But they can be uncomfortable, and I acknowledge that. There is a seatbelt extension which I used and was provided by the manufacturer of the vehicle I was in, a Ford police car, because when I had all my gear on with my gun belt and whatnot, I found it uncomfortable and hard to. It wasn't that I couldn't fit; it's that I couldn't. I'm right-handed. My gun would be right on top of the release for the seatbelt, and I couldn't, without scratching and scraping up my hands all the time, put the seatbelt on easily. So this basically just extended the seatbelt by putting a solid bar in. There's soft ones, there's rigid ones. But this was very useful for me. Made my life a lot easier. And then, of course, I kept forgetting it in the police car when I left for shift. What was this? My son signed up with Young Drivers to finally go for his G2. He's had his G1 for 9 years. That's interesting. What's cooking? Are you jumping on the show, Mike? I'm taking that as a no. Wait, are you? Maybe, possibly? We have someone with lots of knowledge.
Someday in the future.
Someday, okay. Speedman might show up on the show one day. What do we got here? Okay, summer tires are going on a Kayla's car. Let's have a look here at, what is this? Butt front door windows. What is that in relation to? 0% windshield? Oh, 0. Yeah, you can't have any tint on the windshield. I was going to say, if you have 0% tint, that would allow no light to come through. It's called butt paint. It's like black, opaque. Not okay. What do we see here? The room is saying, Mike, get in here.
Like, don't be a chicken.
Okay. I need water. Okay. Keep on going. Keep on going. What do we have here? There's a lot of discussion about seatbelt extensions. What age for a child in the front seat? That's one I know the answer to. There's no legal requirement. And this doesn't say, we suggest 14 years old. We say stay in the back seat until 14 because a child's physical development, and I say child, I'm not knocking anybody who's younger, but you just haven't, you could be really tall, but they say your skeletal development, and I'm speaking and parroting what medical peeps have said, but it is that it's safer to be further away from the airbags. I was a big person at 13, so I was probably riding in the front. And nobody did rules when I was a kid. Like, I don't think there were seatbelts in the back seat when I was a kid. Anyway, the point of why I say this is, as long as they are legally out of a car seat, it doesn't matter where they go. What's that? Yeah, so it's eight years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9". One of those three things is a legal requirement to get out of a booster seat. And as you're going through the stages of rear-facing, forward-facing, and booster, follow not only the legal requirements, because it's stated, you can Google it very easily. Additionally, you want to make sure you're within the requirements of the seat, because if you are trying to stretch and save some money, stretch those dollars, and you keep a child in a seat longer when they're bigger than the seat's capable of supporting, and it says so on the seat, or in the manual, that's not lawful. And there's expiry dates. And if you talk to doctors like my cousin Harrison, he'll tell you to keep your child in the back seat, in a rear-facing seat, as long as possible. So rear-facing seats, the bucket when they're babies, that's rear-facing, till they're 4 years old. Well, I can tell you that my children grew like trees, and unless I was able to origami their legs, they weren't going to fit in that anymore. He didn't have much sympathy. He says, you make it work because it's safer for them, and I agree with him. It's very hard. Life is hard. Okay. What do we have here? Let's see here. Oh, a lot of people thought it was 18. Okay. Why it takes you forever to respond to car theft calls. It takes time to respond to any call. This is not my wheelhouse because we don't respond to car theft calls in traffic. We do collisions. But here's the deal. We prioritize things. So someone who's being attacked is priority over a car that's already gone. And ultimately what we're doing is making a report for insurance purposes and possibly maybe to catch it. But it's more than likely that it's going to be an insurance situation at that point. The race to save life is a priority over the race to save stuff or do reports. So that's just my oversimplified response on that. Let's see here. Sean, you're the best man. The way you talk to us and make it very equal. Keep doing you, man. Well, thanks very much. You know what? We are just people. We're all here just trying to get along. And I want to make sure that we get you all the information you're looking for. That's the whole goal of what we do here is to communicate. So if someone thinks I'm giving them attitude, I'm either joking or they're telling me something really silly. But I'm generally not, trying to give anyone a hard time. My goal here is truly to communicate, to build some community. And hey, this is a perfect opportunity to once again talk about the fact that I'm on Volley, and I want you guys to come join me because we're going to play with this app and see what we can do with it. It's talk.volley, VOLLEY.app /voiceover cop to get to me. That's my account. You can actually send me messages right there. And that's it. I don't know. My wife, I said no one's on there. My wife is on there. She added me as a friend. I had to ask her to, though.
Sean and Aaron, what is your favorite song right now? Going off the traffic spectrum for a second.
Oh.
Someone asked.
What is my
I'm
favorite
trying to
song?
think of what my favorite song is right now.
I don't know. When do I have time to listen to music? I don't even know what the names of things are. But okay, my kids are into all sorts of things. My kids listen to so much music that they can sing, and they're actually pretty good, even if there's no music. They're just on it, and they listen to things repeatedly, and they know all the words to all the songs, and they're young, which is amazing to me. They're really, really good. And I know I'm biased. They're my kids, but they really are good. So what's at one point, and this is not current because this was a couple of weeks ago, but Seven Nation Army, which is not a new song.
Oh yeah.
Not only did we get into Seven Nation Army, but I was on Apple Music looking at every variation and remix, and I've got one of my kids likes one mix and one of them likes the other. So we have a playlist of Seven Nation Army 5 ways, and I like it. But I'm not. I used to DJ, and not on the radio, but I used to DJ like bar mitzvahs and dance parties and things like that when I was in high school, and I used to love all sorts of music. But I developed a really, really wide range. I got everything from country to pop to house to hip hop. Like I like everything, but I have no time. And when I do have time, I'm listening to podcasts now, or I'm on phone calls and meetings, and I no longer get to really chill out and enjoy music because I have noise canceling headphones. You know what the great thing about noise canceling headphones are? You don't hear anything, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is people scream or come up and tap me until I respond. So I have no time to enjoy music. And like I said, when I'm driving, I'm learning something.
Yes. My favorite song, like the newest favorite song I have, it's actually a rap song. It's by Megan Thee Stallion, and it's called Plan B. It is very vulgar. But yeah, I love that song. I love all types of music. And yeah, that one gave a like really old school, like hip hop rap vibe. So yeah, anyways, that's my favorite song.
If we didn't have restrictions to licensing, and we can't, unfortunately we're a government, fortunately we're a government, but entity, but because we're corporate, because we are not a regular use TikTok account, we don't have access to certain things. Otherwise, I'd be playing all sorts of licensed like music freely behind us. I think it'd be cool to put a DJ spin and actually, get my Techniques 1200s out here, and we could. I got vinyl still. I have crates of vinyl still from when I was a kid. And
I have a
people are
couple vinyls
People
too.
are like, what's vinyl?
Actually, they're back now. Like,
Is it in?
Oh, it's in.
Like
you can
wall decor or to actually play?
No, like you can buy like up to like new modern record players.
Wow.
I actually want to get one because I do have a couple vinyls that I have bought.
Do you know what's really scary is I said Techniques 1200s and I doubted myself, and I started thinking about baud rates. Does anyone know what a baud rate is? Well, my first one was I think 300 baud, then 1200 baud, then 2400 baud. At some point I went to a 14.4 and a 28.8, and I think at the end was 57.6 or something. But now I'm already I don't even remember because by then we started getting into other things. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Let me know.
Sean Shapiro.
A master technician knows exactly how to get attention.
Yeah, he does.
It's amazing how all caps works.
It does.
But yes.
Did you see that question?
I just did. Can you see if our vehicle is insured when you run our plates or driver's license? So if we run your plates, we do have the ability of checking with the ministry to see what they see. Now, it's not necessarily an up-to-the-minute report. So if it says that it's unconfirmed, that usually will follow up with a call to the insurance company to verify. Now, we have 3 years to lay a charge for no insurance. So it's not pressing to have to do it right now. Usually what I'll do is anything that I lay charges on, or when I was on the road would lay charges on, I would follow up afterwards. And I could always come to your house and lay another charge later. If it is insured, it'll say insured. But again, it may be, in a changeover. I don't know how current the information is. I always verify before laying charges from the insurance company directly and not just a little readout. But yeah, there is an indicator that we can see. A master technician says he still has 8 tracks. Right on.
Oh, that's before my time.
56.6. Yes, it was 56.6. And I think it's the only comment related to baud rate. I think 56.6, 14.4, 56. Okay, I lost it. I remembered all my modems up until then. I had some PC. What was it? PCI. I had some anyway. Different ways of modeming, but they were modems. That was a communication protocol, or the speed in which you were capable, and they had error correction. There were all sorts of things, I used to I worked for a company called Delrena. Does anyone know what Delrena did? They made WinFax Pro. So I, for a period of time, supported WinFax Pro for the Mac. I was a Mac. I haven't talked about this stuff in 100 years. I was a Mac technician for Delrena, which was bought by Symantec, and they left Canada. So I had the opportunity to move with the company to the States, which I didn't take advantage of at the time. Where were they moving to? They moved somewhere really nice. And I probably should have, because they were advertising it as go skiing in the morning and go surfing at night, or something like that, because it was depending where you were in driving distance to both.
Mr. Sean, do you ever get recognized?
For a stroke, I do. It goes in waves.
Yes.
So I've been recognized in the drive-thru at the McDonald's. I've been recognized by kids in a park. All the time. I'm walking around in the mall. Hey, are you? Yeah. And even cops. I go to events and things, and they're like, you're a lot bigger in person. That's the number one comment.
Well, who is that? I forget his first name. And if he hears this, I apologize. But he did the, when we did that with the youth safety in the parking lot at the X, where we did that video.
Sean Chen.
How should I? Yeah.
How would you not remember the name Sean?
I know, right? But even before I met him officially, like around the station, he would see me and he'd be like, hey, TikTok. He would just call me TikTok. That's it.
We're talking Sean? No, you're talking about, no, not Sean. You're talking about from the Motor Squad. I thought you were talking about our friend Sean from the Youth Vision Zero.
Oh, no, not him. No, like the actual Motor Squad cop.
Gotcha.
Is it Andrew?
No.
Okay.
But now you've thrown me off, and I can't come up with it.
And
now I feel bad.
Now I do too. But he just calls me TikTok. So
well, it makes sense. But you've been recognized a whole lot more because you're on the road more. I went for a ride with Sergeant Kraft, and we went to go take some photos of Vision Zero Enforcement Team. A lot of the photos that you see on our daily posts discussing where Vision Zero Enforcement Team is, it went up and. What's the point of my story? As I'm coming around the corner, I hear Sean, and it was Barry, my buddy Barry from the TTC. He wasn't my buddy then because I had never met him before, but I got out, we had a chat, it was great, we've spoken a number of times, and he DMs me, so it's cool. Yeah, I've made lots of friends because of it. I a lot of new friends in this greater TikTok world. Lots of folks and opportunities have come up. I mean, TikTok ultimately brought us to Jerry Agar.
That's right.
Because they reached out, the producers, or he was then, I guess, he was the producer, I think, and for the station producer or program, I don't know what he was. But he reached out, and I was getting my vaccination. I was in line, and I got a TikTok message, hey, can we call you from the radio station? And the rest is history.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Every other Wednesday and sometimes on a Monday during a campaign.
Yes. Via Cavalli says, coming to Saskatchewan or Saskatoon? Yes. Yeah, you can. Well, so I'm doing something. I'm traveling with Turf. And we're doing a circuit of speaking to universities and some high schools and some police services, and there's a whole thing going on. So in September, I'll be in Regina and Saskatoon, but I don't have the specifics as to my travel yet. But I'll be doing lives from there, so absolutely there'll be opportunities to meet. Is it legal to drink in a golf cart? Why does every course allow it? Well, technically they're motor vehicles as far as I can tell. Under the criminal code, they're motor vehicles, and because it's anything other than muscular and impaired operation, well, that's something that can be charged on private or public property. There's no exemption for golf carts or golf courses, so it is a criminal offense. You could be arrested for it. Absolutely. How much schooling do you need to be a new constable recruit? So first things first, check out www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. All the information you could possibly want is there. However, it is nice to have university or college. It is not a requirement. Grade 12 education is the absolute minimum. That being said, the more you have, the better. It's all about becoming the best candidate you can be. Being the best candidate you can be. So it's a competitive process. If there's 10 of us and 2 of us have a doctorate and 2 of us have a master's and 2 of us have we barely got through high school, they're going to weigh potentially win in as a better candidate on paper. And then you got to sell yourself. But listen, the more education you have is a good thing. Okay. But all the information there, and speak to a recruiter. They are there to help you. We have an episode of TPS Traffic Jam, episode 6, I believe, and it is with the good folks at TPS Recruiting. They're also on TikTok. They're also on all the other platforms. I say all. All really is Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I imagine they're also on Facebook. Is Facebook a thing? Do you guys use Facebook? We were having this discussion a lot recently, and who uses what? Do you use Twitter? I go on Twitter and I only see people I work with on Twitter. Does anybody else use Twitter? Twitter it seems to be slowly dying.
It is, yeah. Compared to what it was like 4 years ago, that was like, yeah.
But there's a lot of angry people on Twitter.
Yes.
That's for certain. Twitter is for angry people. That's okay. Not all of them are angry. Just a lot of them are angry. But we got the good vibes on TikTok. Definitely good vibes on TikTok.
Elon Musk uses Twitter. Yeah, we know.
Yes, he does. I don't think he's buying it, though. I think that's changed.
Oh, I thought he, yeah.
I think there was some discussion about him changing. Okay. It is 11 o'clock, and I'm happy to keep it going for a few more minutes if there's what to talk about. Is grade 12 education equivalent or GED good enough? As a minimum, I would say yes, as we were just discussing, but the better is. And Sergeant Kulik, I was seeing. I saw you retweeting. I get notifications as we go, but I've not been able to look at it because I only have one work phone and one personal phone now. So my personal phone is currently what I'm using to transmit on Instagram Live. Otherwise, I used to have 3 phones, and it was a lot of work to carry 3 phones, I'll tell you that. But I had 3 phones, and I've got an old phone that doesn't really want to do the Instagram thing very well. But I am looking to find better ways to transmit onto 3 cameras. So for anyone who's interested in knowing how we do what we do, I'm pointing directly at my iPhone 13. That is Instagram. I'm pointing at my iPhone 11. That is TikTok. And up there, that is my Restream camera, and that is what is transmitting on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So that's how we do it all, and it's very cool. I have a 3-camera mount, not 3-camera, 3 monitor mount system, and I've got it set up to hold 2 monitors, 2 phones with magic arms, and then the camera, and then I have 2 other boom kind of desk mount things that are carrying 2 laptops, my PC and my Mac. Then I've got a mixing board. It's a Zoom P8, a PodTrack P8, which I love. And then I'm running a split keyboard, like literally split. Here, this is something that is going to blow your mind. if I can make.
Yeah, I tried to use that when you were away on vacation, and I was like, I can't.
I will tell you, it takes. How do I do this? Okay, wait. No. Okay, wrong one to pick up. Let's pick up the other side. So this is a Kinesis keyboard. So the folks, this is my home keyboard I brought. This is half my keyboard. So it was suggested to me by someone who deals with ergonomics for the service. Suggested this keyboard, and apparently they're going to buy me one. But I bought my own in the meantime to use at home, and I brought it here because it is actually far more comfortable than trying to get my big hands and everything together to type. I can keep my hands way apart and still type very efficiently and without pain. And I do suffer from pain as a result of having been in a collision. I probably would have had pain anyway, just being a big guy, but it's been more so because of the collision. Okay, are radar detectors illegal? Back onto non-production-y things and back into car things, because I think we'll end off on that. Radar detectors are not legal in the province of Ontario. You can't possess them, you can't buy them, you can't sell them, you can't use them, obviously. The charge is $170, comes with 2 demerit points. Police have search and seizure authority. What does that mean? Well, if we believe you have it, and I say believe, it's not reasonable probable grounds, it's different requirements under the HDA. If we believe you have it, we have the authority to search your vehicle. So very often people say, well, what do you mean? I'll just put it in my pocket. Well, we have the ability to search you because you were part of what was in the vehicle. We can search everything. We can also dismantle parts of your vehicle looking for it. So usually before the tools come out on fancy cars, people tend to just give it up. But that's your prerogative. You can choose to let us go through the entire car or continue the search until we find it. And we don't have to put it back together. So that's something to think about. Yeah, that's a thing. Also, radar jammers fall into the same category. So anything that prevents police from measuring your speed is all in the same category. So people who mount these funky jammers and they think they're doing a great job, no, we figure this out. This is not rocket science. When we're getting a reading that doesn't make sense, we know you got a jammer. When we see you hammer the brakes, when we momentarily trigger our radar, we know you got it. There's a lot of things going on. And ultimately, don't speed. That's really the message. And because I'm talking about the don'ts now, we're not answering questions. I'm just telling you can't do stuff. Because I was for a long time called the CEO of no.
I was just going to bring that up. Remember that was like when we first when you first started going viral on TikTok.
It 2 years ago? How long ago it's coming up on 2 years. So it was the CEO of no, because everyone asks a question, the answer is no. And for a lot of what we talk about, the answer is no. But we've developed into more the TikTok. Jerry Yeager calls me the TikTok traffic cop. So that's sort of where we've flown. But I still love CEO of no. And I one day I'll have merch. I'm gonna have.
You're gonna have merch.
I gotta have merch because you need to have CEO of no and TikTok traffic cop because everybody wants to wear that stuff. No, nobody wants to wear that stuff. Okay.
I would.
Yeah. Let's see here. Can I put my windshield plate? No. Can I put my license plate in the windshield? Ha ha. No, you cannot.
Speaking of no.
Yeah, CEO. See, they're around back on the back in the mode of CEO of no. You can't do that. It's against the law. $110 fine. Not to mention the fact that it turns into a ninja star in a collision. It becomes a projectile. It's very dangerous. But ultimately, it's illegal regardless. You'll be charged $110 for failing to display 2 plates. You say, well, I did display it. Well, you didn't display it according to the regulations. And guess what? The HTA has regulations. You got to do things the way they tell you to do things, not just the way you want to do things. It's funny how these laws work. Not asking anybody for their opinion, not being fair. It's not fair. Anyway. What is this? They are illegal everywhere west of Manitoba. If we're talking about radar detectors and stuff, I don't know why anywhere would make them legal. Why would I want someone to have a fighting chance not to get caught while breaking the law, while knowingly doing something that is dangerous, that increases the odds of collision, that raises the injury level and the chances of death in event of a collision? Why would I make it legal? That to me is so bass-ackwards. Yes, I said it. I don't get it because it should be absolutely outlawed. Heck, we should crush cars. I just want to say that to trigger somebody. In Australia, they have something called the Hoon laws, and if you're stunt driving, they crush your car.
Oh,
They just gone. Goodbye, car. Yeah. And I wonder if that would stop anybody. Like if I took your $100,000 car and crushed it because you were doing 200 kilometers an hour.
Do they make you watch it happen?
I think they keep your eyes open.
Watch your soul leave your body as your car is getting crushed. Only imagine.
And no insurance. Your insurance does not cover it. And that'd be amazing. Someone says just rig the car with to detonate in the event that. Okay, that's some high energy solution. How come speed limits are so slow? Why don't you pull over people who also go under the speed limit? So MOA, speed limits are slow because studies show that slower is safer, faster is more dangerous. That's ultimately why things are slow. Now, I know that some speed limits have been increased on the Highway 400 series highways. Those were increased by 10 kilometers because 10 kilometers over was deemed to be still safe on certain stretches of the highway, and that's it. If you're talking about city streets where pedestrians and vulnerable road users are sharing that space, because guess what? They are sharing the space. Even if you're a pedestrian and you have to cross a street, that's sharing the roadway. And it's safer for those people. It's safer for everybody when you slow down. You get more reaction time, the ability to actually slow down and avoid collisions. It's like a time machine. You slow things down and make it safer. Also, if you hit a pedestrian at 30 kilometers an hour versus 60, their chances of surviving it are incredibly increased. Now, we have been reducing speed limits in the city of Toronto for years. We've made most 60s, 50s, 50s, 40s, 40s, 30s, and that is to protect everybody, you included. So why is it safe? You know what? Why is it done? It's because it's safer. Why should it matter? Well, here's the deal. People are freaking out because 10 kilometers an hour does not incredibly affect your ability to reach a destination. Leave 5 minutes earlier. Boom, you're done. It's easy. In fact, 10 kilometers an hour slower, in my opinion, makes time for you. You get to listen to a podcast for a minute longer. And I mean a minute. Like it does not people who speed think they're getting somewhere faster. And I see the same people at the stoplight.
Yep, me too. I was just going to say that.
Kilometers. And they're winning. It's just this high anxiety race to get nowhere. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, CEO of No Strikes Again. All you do is increase your odds of collision and burn more gas and wear your brakes out faster, stopping and going and stuff. I figured out as I came to work, because I set it and forget it. I set my speedometer at the speed limit, my cruise control, and I just go this 2 kilometers over, 2 kilometers under, but I go, in that range. I say 2 kilometers because maybe my speedometer isn't as accurate as I think it is, but generally speaking, they're accurate, especially at 100 kilometers an hour. Master technician can weigh in. But speeding, and master technician says speeding only works out during long distances. Yeah, sustained, continuous speed for a long period of time, yes. But we don't see that in the city. Even in the city on the highway, we don't see it.
I think you should answer this one.
Okay.
Are cyclists allowed to pass you when you are at a red light so they get to the front of the line?
Cyclists weeding through traffic? Yeah. It's really not an issue. Is it silly? Sure, it's silly. They're putting themselves at risk. If it leads to a collision, if they fall down, are you responsible when you're not moving? No, but you have to be very careful. Cyclists cycling is a great way to get around our city if you're doing it lawfully. Is it against the law to lane split? Well, it's against the law for a motorcycle. I'm going to say it's against the law for a cycle too. Is it going to happen? Sure, it's going to happen. Is it something we're heavily enforcing? No. We're focused on cars. Why are we focused on cars? Because a car making an error in judgment will cost more or cause more damage and death than a cyclist, who will cause damage, but likely less. So when we have campaigns for safety, we focus on driver behavior, even though cyclists do a lot of bonehead things and get themselves hurt. and that's not, listen, I love cyclists. I am a cyclist on occasion, although I have been off the road for a while since my injuries. But I used to ride everywhere. In fact, I chose to get my license. I got my license right away, but I chose to get a new bicycle instead of a car when I was licensed. I was given the option. Would you like a car when you're 15 or would you like a bicycle when you're 15 or a car when you're 16? Fortunately, my parents were able to get me a shitbox to drive. I just said something I was not supposed to say. Oh my goodness. The first time I've used vulgarity on the internet.
Hey, it happens, but at least you caught it right away.
I did. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go and have a coffee or something. All right.
I feel like that's our cue to cut it off for the day.
Yeah, that's what we're done. Yeah. I tell you, talking about bicycles just gets me all fired up.
Well, at least it was an S word and not anything worse than that. Say that.
All right. I am off the air. Have a great day, everybody. I hope you stay safe. I hope that you drive safely, that you get to where you're going peacefully with harmony. And with all that music that we were listening to, we use our regular outro music. I can't believe I said that. Anyway, have a fantastic day. And Master Technician is going to go put in for some PTSD training now that he's heard that. It's been a great day. Actually, I had a lot of fun. And we'll be back tomorrow for the last day. It's Friday Junior. In this case, it's Friday official. And if I don't catch it tomorrow, have a happy Canada Day. It is Canada Day, right?
That is okay, right, good. On Friday. And no rush hour is going to be enforced on Friday. That's all I'm going to say.
Good to know.